Story outline. Alien warned. Do not attack the humans. They will never let you flee. Part 1. The warning ignored. 2,000 words. Opening. Commander Zixtar of the Hegemony Fleet receives intelligence about a weak human colony. The warning. Ancient. Keeper species contacts the fleet with dire warnings about human nature. Dismissal. Zixtar and his officers dismiss the warnings as fear-mongering from a dying race. Intelligence report. Analysis of human military capabilities shows primitive technology and small numbers. The decision. Despite the warning, the Hegemony decides to proceed with the attack on Haven Colony First Strike. The attack begins with overwhelming force against the unsuspecting colony, unexpected resistance. Humans fight with unprecedented ferocity and tactical adaptation. Growing concern. What should have been a quick victory becomes a costly battle part. 2. The hunt begins. 2,000 words. The survivors. Few colonists survive, but their distress signal reaches human space. The response. Human fleets mobilize with cold determination rather than hot anger. New kind of war. Humans begin systematic hunting of every ship involved in the attack. Psychological warfare. The galaxy watches as humans track down individual crew members. No escape. Hegemony forces find no safe harbor as humans pursue them relentlessly. The reckoning. Zixtar realizes the truth of the Keeper's warning too late. Final confrontation. The last Hegemony survivors face the reality of human justice. Galactic. Lesson. The galaxy learns why you should never underestimate human resolve. Part 1. The warning. Ignored. Commander Zixtar stood in the command chamber of the Hegemony Dreadnought Dominator, his forearms crossed as he studied the holographic display floating before him. The target system glowed softly in blue light, showing a single inhabited world orbiting a yellow star. According to intelligence reports, this human colony called Haven supported barely 300,000 inhabitants and possessed minimal defensive capabilities. The Hegemony had conquered 47 worlds in the past decade, each victory adding to their growing empire. The humans would be number 48, chosen specifically because they appeared weak and isolated, perfect for demonstrating hegemony power to other species who might consider resistance. Commander, called Navigation Officer Kelmoth from his station, we are receiving an incoming transmission on emergency frequencies. The sender identifies as a Keeper vessel. Zixtar's secondary eyes narrowed. The Keepers were an ancient species that claimed to have observed galactic civilizations for millennia. They rarely communicated with anyone, preferring to watch from the shadows of deep space. When they did speak, their words usually brought unwelcome news. Display the transmission, Zixtar ordered. The main screen flickered, revealing the ethereal form of a Keeper. Their species had evolved beyond physical needs, existing as beings of pure energy within crystalline shells. The Keeper's voice resonated through the chamber like distant thunder. Commander Zixtar of the Hegemony Fleet. The being began. I am Keeper Athalorn. I bring urgent counsel regarding your planned assault on the human settlement. The Keepers meddle in affairs that do not concern them, Zixtar replied coldly. Our military operations are not subject to your approval. This is not about approval, Athalorn continued, their form pulsing with what seemed like distress. This is about survival. You must not attack the humans. They are not what they appear to be. Tactical Officer Vexina stepped forward, her voice filled with contempt. The humans are primitives with crude weapons and few ships. Our intelligence is thorough. Intelligence can measure ships and weapons, the Keeper responded. It cannot measure the human spirit. We have watched them since they first reached for the stars. They are unlike any species we have encountered in 10,000 years of observation. Zixtar activated his personal comm unit, broadcasting the conversation to his senior staff. Explain yourself, Keeper. What makes these humans so different from the dozens of species we have successfully conquered? The Keeper's form dimmed, as if drawing energy to deliver crucial information. Other species fight for territory, resources, or glory, When defeated, they calculate losses and surrender when the cost becomes too high. Humans fight for something else entirely. They fight for each other. All species claim loyalty to their own, scoffed Chief Engineer Mordek from his position near the engine status displays. No, Athalorn's voice grew more urgent. You do not understand. When humans are threatened, they do not think in terms of acceptable losses or strategic withdrawal. They become something beyond rational calculation. We have observed this phenomenon before. The holographic display shifted, showing what appeared to be ancient star charts. Long ago, another species made the mistake you are about to make. The Kethmori Empire attacked a human settlement, believing it would be an easy victory. The humans destroyed them utterly. Not just their military, their entire civilization. Zixtar felt a flicker of unease, but pushed it aside. The hegemony was not some ancient empire with outdated technology. They possessed the most advanced fleet in known space. The Kethmori were weak, he declared. The hegemony has superior firepower and tactical doctrine. These humans have never faced an organized military force of our caliber. Commander, please. The Keeper's plea carried across space. I have lived for 8,000 years. I have seen the rise and fall of countless civilizations. The humans are dangerous in ways your tactical computers cannot measure. When they love something, they will die for it. When something they love is harmed, they will kill for it without limit or mercy. Intelligence Officer Thykes accessed his data banks, projecting detailed analyses onto secondary screens. Keeper, our reconnaissance shows the human colony has 12 orbital defense platforms, 18 patrol craft, and approximately 5,000 military personnel. Our assault force consists of 47 heavy cruisers, 200 fighter squadrons, and 30,000 elite soldiers. The mathematical advantage is overwhelming. Mathematics, Athalorn whispered, cannot account for what humans become when their families are threatened. They do not follow the rules of conventional warfare. They adapt, improvise, and refuse to accept defeat, even when all logic says they should surrender. Zixtar had heard enough. The Keepers had grown paranoid in their isolation, seeing threats where none existed. Your warning is noted and dismissed. The hegemony does not make war based on ancient fears and superstitions. Then I will tell you this, the Keeper said, their form beginning to fade. When you attack the humans, they will not simply defend their world. They will hunt every ship in your fleet. They will track every soldier who sets foot on their soil. They will follow you across the galaxy until they have accounted for every single life lost. There will be no negotiation, no mercy, no escape. You will have made an enemy that will never stop, never forgive, and never forget. The transmission ended, leaving the command chamber in silence. Zixtar's officers exchanged glances, some looking uncertain for the first time since the mission began. Commander, ventured Communications Officer Plexion, perhaps we should consider selecting a different target. There are other isolated colonies that might serve our purposes just as well. Zixtar's primary eyes blazed with anger. The hegemony does not change course because of threats from shadow dwellers who have forgotten what it means to hold power. We have our orders from High Command. This operation will demonstrate our strength to every species watching. He activated the fleet communication system, his voice carrying to all 47 ships. All vessels prepare for hyperspace transition. We execute the attack plan as scheduled. The human colony will fall within 6 hours, and their surrender will be broadcast across the galaxy as proof of hegemony supremacy. The fleet engaged their hyperdrive systems, reality bending around them as they entered the ethereal realm between stars. Zixtar stood confidently on his bridge, reviewing the battle plan one final time. The first strike would target the orbital defenses, followed by systematic destruction of military installations. Once resistance was broken, surrender demands would be transmitted to every human world. 3 hours later, the hegemony fleet dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of the Haven system. The human colony hung before them like a blue-green jewel, apparently unaware of the approaching destruction. Sensor scans confirmed intelligence reports. Minimal defenses, small patrol fleet exactly as predicted. All ships report ready for combat, announced Fleet Coordinator Kexval. Target assignments confirmed. Shall I give the order to attack? Zixtar looked at the peaceful world on his screen. Somewhere down there, humans were going about their daily lives, unaware that everything was about to change. For a moment, the Keeper's warning echoed in his mind, but he dismissed it as weakness. Begin the assault, he commanded. The first phase went exactly as planned. Hegemony ships emerged from behind the system's outer planets, their weapons already charged. The orbital platforms never had a chance to coordinate their defense. Plasma bolts and quantum torpedoes tore through their shields, reducing the metal structures to glowing debris in minutes. The human patrol fleet tried to respond, their small ships accelerating toward the attacking force with what seemed like suicidal bravery. Zixtar watched 18 human vessels charge directly at 47 heavy cruisers, showing no sign of tactical retreat or strategic regrouping. Curious, observed Tactical Officer Vexina. They are not attempting to preserve their forces or establish defensive positions. They are attacking directly despite impossible odds. The human ships fought with an intensity that surprised the hegemony crews. Instead of following predictable military doctrine, they used tactics that seemed chaotic, but proved remarkably effective. They concentrated fire on specific targets, coordinated ramming attacks when their weapons failed, and continued fighting even when their ships were crippled. These tactics make no sense, muttered Chief Strategist Dulmic. They are sacrificing their entire fleet for minimal damage to our forces. But the humans were causing more damage than expected. 3 hegemony cruisers had suffered significant hull breaches and 2 fighter squadrons had been completely destroyed. The human ships kept fighting until the very last one was obliterated, their crews broadcasting defiant messages even as their vessels burned. The ground assault began 2 hours behind schedule. Hegemony dropships descended through Haven's atmosphere, carrying elite soldiers trained in rapid conquest techniques. They expected to find demoralized civilians ready to surrender after witnessing the destruction of their orbital defenses. Instead, they found something unprecedented. Every human settlement had been transformed into a fortress. Citizens, who should have been cowering in fear, were manning improvised weapons positions. Children carried ammunition while elderly humans coordinated defensive strategies. The entire population had become a unified military force in the time it took the hegemony fleet to clear orbital space. This is impossible, reported Ground Commander Hixtor from the surface. Our intelligence indicated these were civilian settlements with minimal military training. But every building is defended, every street is a battlefield. They are fighting with equipment that should not pose a threat, yet our casualties are mounting. Zixtar watched the battle reports with growing unease. The humans were losing, but they were making the hegemony pay for every meter of ground. Worse, they showed no signs of breaking morale or requesting terms for surrender. Sir, called Communications Officer Plexion. We are detecting multiple transmission bursts from the planet's surface. The humans are broadcasting detailed combat reports to other human worlds. Jam their communications, Zixtar ordered. We are trying, sir, but they are using quantum-encrypted channels we cannot decode. The transmissions are getting through. As night fell on Haven Colony, Zixtar realized this was taking far longer than any previous conquest. The humans continued fighting with the same intensity as when the battle began, showing no sign of fatigue or despair. Even their wounded kept fighting, supported by civilians who had turned their entire society into a war machine. In the depths of space, other human ships were already moving, drawn by the distress signals from Haven. Zixtar had no way of knowing that his easy victory was about to become the beginning of a war unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. The Keeper's warning had been ignored, and now the lesson would begin. The hunt begins. Admiral Sarah Chen stood in the command center of the human defense fleet, watching the final transmissions from Haven Colony fade into static. The last message had come from a 12-year-old girl named Emma Rodriguez, who had continued operating a communications relay even as enemy soldiers broke through her shelter's defenses. Her final words would be remembered across human space. Tell everyone we didn't give up. Tell them to make them pay. The silence in the command center was absolute. 200 officers and crew members absorbed the reality that Haven Colony had fallen after 18 hours of desperate resistance. 300,000 human lives had been lost, but not a single person had surrendered. "Admiral," reported Captain James Park from the intelligence station, "we have complete sensor records of the attacking fleet. 47 heavy cruisers, multiple fighter squadrons, approximately 30,000 soldiers. The ships match the configuration of the Hegemony First Battle Group." Sarah's expression remained calm, but those who knew her recognized the dangerous stillness that came over her when she was truly angry. "Casualties? Total loss of civilian population," Park continued quietly. "However, they inflicted significant damage before the end. Enemy losses include 6 cruisers destroyed, 14 heavily damaged, and approximately 8,000 soldiers. The attackers withdrew to hyperspace 6 hours ago. Current location unknown, but we have detailed scans of their ship's energy signatures and hyperspace wake patterns." Sarah activated the fleet communication system. Her voice carried to every human ship within 50 light-years, each word measured and precise. "This is Admiral Chen to all human vessels. Haven Colony has been destroyed by an unprovoked attack from the Hegemony Empire. As of this moment, we are at war." The response was immediate and overwhelming. Every human ship in space, military and civilian, reported ready for orders. Cargo haulers requested weapons installations. Passenger liners volunteered for conversion to troop transports. Mining ships offered their industrial equipment for military use. But Sarah had something different in mind. "All fleet commanders, report to the Valiant for emergency briefing," she announced. "We are not fighting a conventional war." 4 hours later, representatives from 12 human battle groups gathered in the main briefing room. The holographic display showed a 3-dimensional map of local space with red markers indicating known hegemony positions. "Ladies and gentlemen," Sarah began, "the hegemony believes they have won a victory at Haven. They expect us to mobilize our fleets for large-scale battles, to negotiate terms, or to seek allies among other species. They are wrong on all counts." Captain Maria Santos, commander of the 3rd Battle Group, leaned forward. "What are your orders, Admiral?" Sarah touched the display controls, zooming in on the Hegemony fleet's last known position. The Hegemony First Battle Group consists of 41 surviving ships and approximately 22,000 soldiers. Every one of those ships was present at Haven. Every one of those soldiers participated in the murder of our people. The display changed, showing detailed technical readouts of the enemy vessels. "We are going to hunt them down individually. Not their empire, not their government, not their species as a whole. We are going to find every ship and every person who was at Haven, and we are going to make them account for what they did." Captain O. David Kim of the 7th Fleet looked puzzled. "Admiral, hunting individual ships across the galaxy will take years. Wouldn't a direct assault on their home systems be more effective?" "More effective at what?" Sarah asked. "Killing more people? Starting a galactic war? The Hegemony attacked Haven because they thought humans were weak and isolated. We are going to show them, and everyone else watching, exactly how wrong they were." She activated a new display showing human ship positions across known space. "Every human vessel is now part of the hunt. We will track the Hegemony survivors wherever they go. We will monitor every space station, every trade route, every safe harbor. When we find them, we will take them." Captain Santos studied the tactical implications. "The logistics alone will be staggering. We'll need supply lines across dozens of star systems, communication networks, intelligence gathering on a scale we've never attempted. Then we'll build them," Sarah replied simply. "Every human world is now a military base. Every human ship is now a hunter. Every human citizen is now part of this operation." The transformation began immediately. Human space became a hive of coordinated activity unlike anything the galaxy had seen. Trade ships were refitted with military-grade sensors. Scientific vessels had their research equipment replaced with weapons systems. Even small personal craft were equipped with long-range communication arrays. The psychological warfare started within days. Human transmissions flooded galactic communication networks, broadcasting detailed information about every Hegemony ship involved in the Haven attack. Photos of the crews, their names, their service records, even personal details about their families back home. Commander Zixtar received one such transmission aboard the Dominator as his fleet tried to find sanctuary in the neutral zone. His image appeared on screens across human space, along with his complete military record and personal history. Commander Zixtar, the calm voice of Admiral Chen echoed through his ship's communication system. You ordered the attack on Haven Colony. You are personally responsible for the deaths of 300,000 innocent people, including 17,000 children. We are coming for you. The message was followed by something that chilled every hegemony officer who heard it. A list of names. Every person who had died at Haven, read slowly and clearly, with brief descriptions of their lives. Emma Rodriguez, age 12, who wanted to be a xenobiologist. Dr. Marcus Webb, age 67, who had delivered over 3,000 babies during his career. Maria Santos, age 8, who loved to draw pictures of spaceships. In his final transmission before capture, Zixtar sent a message to Hegemony High Command. The humans cannot be defeated by conventional warfare. They do not follow the rules of military engagement. When you harm what they love, they will hunt you forever. Recommend immediate negotiation for peace terms. The response from High Command was swift and unforgiving. Zixtar was declared a traitor and coward. The hegemony would continue the war until humanity was crushed, but Admiral Chen, monitoring the transmission from her command ship, smiled for the first time since Haven's fall. The hegemony still didn't understand what they were facing. The hunt would continue until every person responsible for Haven had been brought to justice. And then perhaps the galaxy would finally understand the truth the Keepers had tried to share. When you make an enemy of humanity, there is nowhere in the universe you can hide. The lesson was almost complete.